today on the Survivor Super Fun Time show, welcome. This is the episode 7 recap from Survivor 48, and I'm doing it today with Survivor 47 finalist and certified badass, Sue from Survivor 47. Thank you for joining us today. Sue, how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Nice to speak to you and be on this show. I'm really looking forward to this.
That's right. It's a Super Fun Studios, and at the Super Fun Studios, Sue is always welcome. And because Sue's fun, right?
That's right. I'm super fun.
She's here. That's why she's here today. I mean, you see the background there. You see the designed footballs, the dog photos, the Becca bag. So many different things. So many different things back there. But aside from that, the main headline is in front of all those objects. That's Sue. And today we're going to be talking to, exactly. You're the prize, Sue. Remember that. Today we're going to be talking about last night's episode and some other random topics out there from Survivor. For me personally, a little bit of a devastating episode because of one of the castaways that was voted out last night in the kind of controversial Double Tribal Council episode. A lot of fans usually aren't too big a fan of it, but I don't know. That's the general gist. So turning it to you, obviously, my esteemed guest here, what did you think of last night's boots in particular? And we'll talk about the rest later.
Yeah. So just to give you an overall, because I sort of have to bring this up, this one sort of hit home for me. So one good thing and one bad thing. And the good thing was, the challenge itself, which we'll go into later on.
Oh, so we're going to go into that, Sue. Don't you worry.
Very excited about that. But then we're talking about the charity vote out?
Well, no, we're talking about last night where Cedrek and Sai were the boots.
Exactly. So that was equally hard for me to watch because it brought back so many memories of the Tiana vote out. So as I watched it, so we didn't have the double vote out. They were safe and we were voting out the final person. It's always so sad. I don't care if you don't even like the person. We all know where we want to go and we all have, bucket lists, right? Like you want to make it, past the first vote. You want to make it to such and such. And, your next thing is making it to jury. And this was that last vote to not make jury. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. And all I kept thinking about as I was watching this was the pain in Tiana's face. And when she turned around and looked at us, it like tore your heart out. And so I watched this with such a different look at it because of what is still so new to us. And so that was really hard. So
that Tiana vote, I remember I was watching it in a hotel room and I was like, yo, this is the worst I felt for somebody voted out in a long time. Yeah. Because there was just so much pain behind those eyes. And you were there in person, you got to see it.
Yeah.
And
we were buddies. She was plan B. She was always plan B. And, I had always known I didn't want to keep her around, right? Because I was so worried she might spill that she saw me with the red paint. So, and that I may have something. So that was, I always trusted Caroline, but I didn't want her around, but I didn't want her to go. And when it went to plan B, I just felt like, oh, God came down from heaven to say, okay, we're doing this for you now, even though in the same breath, I loved her. I liked her as a person. I liked her as a player. And it was really, really hard to do that to her. So watching it last night was like a double whammy. Like it's sad. It's very sad to know that person is not going any further in this game.
So in particular, I assume, since the person that really ended up getting, the short end of the stick of the two is Sai. Sai was part of the first tribal council, which meant she was voted out, but she was not going to be part of the jury. And Sai also has been probably the most dynamic character on this season. So do you think that added a little extra oomph in comparison to maybe if like Cedrek had been the first one that was taken out?
Well, I feel like Sai, like you said, she was such a strategic thinker. And the one thing that I know that if I were there playing, the last person I would want on jury would be Bitter Say, because she's right. She's so smart and she's so intelligent, and she's the type that, I mean, who doesn't? I hold grudges, so she's the type that probably really, really, really would hold a grudge too, right?
I think so too.
Yeah. So, but I feel like she deserved the jury at least because of her gameplay, and from day one, I kept saying this girl's going to win this. Like, I really thought with her gameplay, if she didn't overdo it and didn't offend people, she could have gone so far. She just cat with 9 lives, right? She even said it herself. She was so good at getting out of every. Oh wait, did I? Oh.
Sorry, Sue. I should have given you a heads up. Every once in a while, I'm going to pop on a little graphic. Yeah. When did you turn into Say? No,
yeah,
I'm giving you a little bit of
turtle body.
I'm giving you a little, little overview
like
here. Yeah.
Oh, she's pretty too. She's very pretty.
Oh, Say's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And she's from Philly. Philadelphia is where I'm from.
Right.
So I have to support her.
No, I don't. What did you think of Say?
I love Say. In the beginning, I said, boy, this girl's annoying. I think episode 1, episode 2. And my biggest issue with Say is that I was preseason. I was a big fan of Mary. I was like, okay, I think she's going to be really good. And then right away at the Stephanie vote, the first vote, they were at odds, Mary and Say.
Yes.
And I said, all right, well, if you're going to, even though I think you're an interesting character, if you're going to come for my girl, which is Mary, who, by the way, is also a Philly resident right now.
Right.
I'm like, that's going to be a problem for me.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get on board with it. But interestingly, a couple episodes later, obviously we got to see a lot of Vula, because Vula were the stinkers of this season. I started to kind of fall in love with her mindset, because it was pretty clear that she wasn't just like angry or jealous or anything like that. She's a gamer. I mean, straight up, that's all it was about. I mean, even with Mary, like when they were at odds, she was like, it seemed like she was questioning the strategy of an opponent versus an enemy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So over time, I really started to really like her a lot, and I am horrified that she got voted out. I was devastated only by 2 votes. Thomas, because I thought Thomas had so much more to play, and Say, because right now, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, I think the game's a little stagnant right now, and Say was exactly the chemical that could have made this balanced.
Exactly. And that's the one thing that I wanted to say as you were saying that is, I feel like you watch it, right? You're watching it. But when it comes into Say, you're like into it, and you're like, can't wait to hear what's going to come out of her damn mouth, right? Like, or whatever she's thinking, like everything she said really caught your attention, where the rest is just like a lullaby almost. Like, it's nice and it's beautiful and kumbaya, but like Say was the outwit, outlast, outplay. Or I'm saying it backwards, but she's that player. Yeah, she's
absolutely.
that player.
Absolutely. Right? Say is just, she's a gamer to the core. I mean, that's the best way to describe it. Especially like if people watch like The Traders. Do you watch The Traders by any chance?
Oh, yes. I watch The Traders.
Okay. Then we'll have to have a sub conversation about that.
Oh,
but like in The Traders, they always refer to like, Big Brother players and Survivor players as gamers, which I think is just code for they think purely strategically and they're not really taking it personally. And I think that's what Say is. Whereas I don't think that's the same thing for a lot of the people on Survivor 48, and which is creating this interesting dynamic.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So her being out is a blow.
It's going to be interesting to see moving forward how this goes, like attention wise and excitement wise, right?
Absolutely. And obviously there's a lot more we could talk about with Say, which I think we will, but kind of on the other side of it, the person who did make jury, Cedrek, was voted out. And I guess my question is, how do you feel about losing Cedrek?
Losing Cedrek was okay. I feel like he didn't have a game, and when he had opportunities to do a big move and to really, really make a name for himself, he didn't. I felt like he, and even with his competing too, like, oh, he was a mess. I mean, he's a great guy, but
he seems to be a good guy, but I was making too many jokes this season because I guess he's a butt doctor. I can't remember what it's called. I mean, I guess it could be a proctologist, but I don't think it's even that. Like he had so many blunders this season too.
Yeah.
Like again, good guy. Survivor's a hard game.
It is.
But I like to add commentary, and I was like, man, sorry, the joke writes itself. You're a butt doctor, and you can't get your head out of your ass, Cedrek,
oh no, that's
the whole
good.
time. the whole time, because you can't help it. I'm not that clever a guy, but listen, it's right in front of me. The material's there, and it never finished that way. Supposedly, or it never changed. I guess there was a deleted scene from this episode where he's like telling them, he's like, listen, you know, I'm getting it together. I'm going to do better this challenge. I'm getting ready. And then he goes out and another massive flop. I think he failed it in 15 seconds, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, right?
He could make it probably to like the final 5 and no one would really remember him.
Probably not. And it's unfortunate to say, but yeah, probably not.
Just because there's nothing. There's just like, I mean, other than he's a really quiet, kind guy, there was nothing that really stood out to make him extra exciting to watch.
No, the only thing that made him exciting for me, and at least a portion of the fandom, I loved that no matter what, like he was like the no vote slayer. Like if somebody didn't have a vote, they were going because of Cedrek, which I thought was a really fun running gag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Justin didn't have a vote, didn't tell Cedrek, but it ended up being the end of Justin.
True. That's so true. I didn't even think about that.
Bianca didn't have a vote, told Cedrek, and that made Cedrek vote her out. It was great.
But I mean, even if you think of that decision, why wouldn't you keep Bianca in? I know we're going back, but like, why wouldn't you keep Bianca in? Have her be like indebted to you now and get out Say, who you knew is chaos, and you don't want to be attached at the hip with her and be seen as her ally. Like, I didn't understand that gameplay at all.
Neither did I. I mean, there's definitely some puzzling situations. I mean, wanting to keep saying at the time, I was like, okay, I sort of agree, but at the same time, he didn't include Say in the vote, and he said he didn't have time, which fine. But if you didn't have time, then maybe don't do it and alienate her further.
Yeah.
Even though you kind of saved her, you also at the same time didn't include her. So
yeah,
you
know, and she's gonna be mad.
Yeah, I think she came back to camp and was like, by the way, Cedrek, you're a liar. I don't want to talk to you right now. It was really, what a dream. What a dream, those two.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, not my thing. Hey,
who's that good looking guy?
I don't know. Hey, I didn't have as much dirt on my face. Where's the dirty face?
I don't know. Okay, so I didn't pull up any dirty things because I'm not trying to come at you for the dirt stuff. Yeah, Sue. I don't know what the deal is. I know you probably talked about it ad nauseum, but man, that was a wild ride because I don't know if you've ever seen any of my videos. Maybe you've seen like clips or something. There was a point when no, yeah, don't. As a running gag toward the end, whenever I would like put up photos of people like this or like this, when it got to you as a running gag, I would put up Pigpen from Charlie Brown.
I love it. No, I love that. I think I saw that. Yes.
Oh, geez. Well,
that's awesome.
Yeah, obviously. Listen, it's always love. It's all jokes. Well, yeah.
I was totally Pigpen. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do.
Well, yeah. I mean, because you don't know. No. I mean, I think you got other claims to fame. I mean, obviously, like honestly, one of the biggest ones really was related to this immunity challenge. I mean, this immunity challenge went on for a real long time, established a new record for David, and I guess second place is Joe.
Yeah.
They shattered Gabler's record by like 30 minutes or 35 minutes or something.
Crazy.
Which is nuts. But someone else who's won this challenge, sitting right here, her name is Sue. Sue went up there. She won that the famous bat necklace. I always call it the Scooby-Doo necklace. I mean, when you were sitting there watching, as someone who's a winner, which by the way, Sue did not have the opportunity to shatter this record. I mean, because you could have gone further, but you already won immunity. There's
my own record, but I made my own record. I'm the oldest person to win an immunity necklace.
Yes, you are.
So I did make my own record in a way.
That's right. Oh yeah, you have that record, no doubt. You have your own.
So there were records. This challenge gives people records.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I never really paid attention. I don't know how long we were up. I know that it was very simple for me for some reason. I'm a racquetball player and a tennis player, so I think I just have really good forearm strength.
Oh yeah.
I probably couldn't have outlasted David and Joe, but I would have liked to try just because, like, even with the guys, I was considering continuing when I was going. And then Jeff had said, Sue, you won, blah, blah, blah. He said, you can and I said, I can let go. He said, yeah. And I was going to stay. And then I'm like, do I stay and try to compete with the guys and put a target on my back, or do I not? and then I let it go. But they had been struggling up by that time anyways. I think I could have beat everybody.
Well, yeah, because I think it was at that point it would have been you versus Kyle and Andy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point. But I mean, ultimately decided to
Oh.
walk away with that necklace. And I wonder if it would have worked out that way. Because if you could have beaten Kyle, that would have been awesome, considering in hindsight, I ran like advanced numbers. And Kyle is like something sick. He's like 15th best challenger of all time by stats. And it's incredible. I never thought that was going to happen. But you potentially could have taken, well, maybe not that away from him, because I guess he would have gotten necklace either way. But I would have loved to have the person with the #1 overall time walk out of that challenge be Sue.
Oh, thank you. I would have too. I wish, like, you think back and you're just like, I should have done it, just because that was the one challenge that I felt so confident. And I even remember joking with them. Even Tina was like, Sue, you didn't budge. And I felt like it was just stuck there and it wasn't going anyplace. It just worked out. So I don't know if I could have lasted David and Joe, but it would have been. See,
you think you can outlast that?
No, I don't think I can.
that dude
I'm
was just having
staring
fun
at
with
his
it.
4 nipples right now, by the way.
I forgot about his 4 nipples. Oh my God. They're prominent.
Yeah, they are.
Oh
Well,
my
I have to
God.
tell you, I don't know. What do you feel about the whole milk thing and this pose? Is it a little much for you?
I'm sick of it. I'm over it. The whole milk thing, it's very interesting because I hate to say it, because it's called Survivor Super Fun Time Show. And the reason why I created this, because there's a lot of negativity at the time I started making videos. And it's funny, this season I found myself being really negative over a couple things. And one of the main ones is this milk storyline, where David, since the beginning, it was like, all right, I'm the milk guy. And then second, it was, I'm too poor for my girlfriend. And then it was, I'm the milk guy again. And we're back on the milk. And it's freaking me out. And I'm just like, why are we talking about milk?
Wait, how like bad was it when they were playing like the sexy music when he was drinking the milk?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, they have no better content to put out than him slow chugging a thing of milk with the sexy music.
Exactly. That's my problem right now. And I'm just like, with Survivor 48 in general, because like Joe got in on it too, where he was talking about how much milk he drinks and everything. And I'm just like, really, this is where we're at, huh? Because one of my David, going off the challenge, obviously he won the necklace, Joe won the necklace. There are people kind of in the power position because they created this like honest and loyalty, strong alliance of them, plus like Kyle, Shaheen, and Eva. Right. And I mean, that's great, but it sounds like because they're doing that, the game's also very stagnant. People aren't looking to make changes. So maybe we do have to see content about milk all this time. It's driving me nuts, Sue.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's just it's to the point where I'm wondering if they're regretting not putting it, or at least putting more activity of the individuals instead of 30 seconds on a milk thing. Show another conversation, show something of someone being strategic, show something of someone bashing someone that we're not seeing that is happening behind the scenes.
There's no way this is it.
Yeah, this is what you got. Like, there seems to be like there should be so much more, and I'm not understanding it, other than he's going to get a big endorsement for milk.
Yeah, really.
So
he's going to get the whole Olive Milk is going to give him that endorsement.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, at this point, might as well freaking dairy farms or whoever makes milk at this point.
Oh yeah,
there's probably a million of them.
Look, he's got a rocking body. I mean, he's a really good guy. I mean, I think they're all great people.
And he's got 4 nipples. What a ringing endorsement for milk.
Yeah, you can't find a better person for that. He's close.
Why drink so much? He's got 4 nips for it to come through. Yeah, man, that's tough. It's a lot of glands to fill, my man. I mean, so then a follow-up question for you, because we're kind of on the same page about this content probably being, no pun intended, kind of dry now at this point. Is who do you most wish you could see more content from now?
I really like Star. I think she's got something. She's just different. And I think I have a soft spot for her because I felt in the beginning she was so ostracized, and like you saw the the videos or the the editing with all of them but her. They didn't like her. Like I was just being like, what's going on? Why don't they like her? But I think she's really cool people. And
Absolutely.
I'd like to see more of her. I do like Kyle and Camilla.
Mhm.
Am I saying
Yeah,
that?
no, Camilla.
I like her. I think she's a good thinker too. I just feel like we're getting more of the bromance plus Eva,
No.
and it's a dude thing, and I don't know, like it's the typical dude thing that's gonna, yeah. I mean, look at Star's
Look at
hysterical.
that.
I'd like to see more of Chrissy too. I think she's pretty badass.
I mean, I think Chrissy's a badass, but I don't know. I'm not sure where we're at with her. I mean,
The
if
Star,
Star, yeah, I mean, even right here, you can see some of Star's personality just in a still photo. And this photo is also really funny because it looks like Chrissy is not into the conversation.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think Chrissy's really cool. Probably, if I hung out with Chrissy, I think she'd be amazing. I'm sure out there, a lot of people love her.
Yeah.
But she's got to, she's got to do something. She's got to help break
Something,
it up, not go with
nothing's
it.
happening. Oh, my favorite's Mitch. I really like Mitch.
You love Mitch, huh?
Yeah, I like Mitch. You don't like him?
No, I like Mitch
Yeah.
Curry. The problem with Mitch is, although I guess this tribal council went well, the previous two, he was super clueless.
Yeah.
And that was not what I expected from Mitch. I thought maybe he'd be a little more locked in.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's actually the one I hate to say it, I was going to come for a little bit in kind of the Cedrek vote. And I'll pull up this graphic just so you can kind of see. So this was, them saying goodbye to Cedrek.
Right.
And right here, I looked at the configuration and I said, all right, if people are aware of what's going on, if they are, that this like whole strong person alliance is happening and they wanted to make some kind of a move. I mean, like Mitch, Cedrek, and Chrissy, Mitch could use the block a vote on like Eva or something.
Yes.
And go after Eva and knock out one of them. And they know she has an idol, so they could do that. But like
And they
Mitch,
didn't.
yeah, I mean, based on what we see, Mitch had no real desire to really make that. It was about survival, not about attacking, And
Plus, though,
it's
because
disappointing.
he bonded with the guys though too, right? He's desperate. He's trying to get a foot in the door of some sort of safety or something, right? So the last thing he can do is blindside Eva because Joe and the rest of the bros are gonna just come right at him. So he probably, and if it failed, he'd be in trouble anyways. They would destroy him.
Yeah, well, that is true. I mean, but it's so tough because I mean, you've been in the game, but I don't know how beyond the first vote, do you ever feel like you were super in danger?
Me?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, no. Because the first vote was really the only one that was a question, right?
Yeah, I knew it was me and TK, but again, like I wasn't even, it's horrible to say because I'm like, I could have been so blindsided so many times, but like, I just felt like I trusted my alliance and I went in there knowing he was going home. It's weird. And I just knew he was going home. And then the other time that, like Soul voted for me and everything, I always went in, but again, they blindsided Caroline and they blindsided Gabe, which were my people. So you don't realize it until it's over and you're like, oh my God, what just happened without my knowing? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally never felt in danger, especially once I had the idol. It stayed in my bra the whole time. And, I always knew that if I had to pull it out, I'd pull it out. You know what I mean? So like,
Oh yeah.
but with
So
them,
that's what it was. A tribal counselor sitting there with the idol just popped in the bra.
it was right in my bra, and if I had to pull it out, I was pulling it out. And
Like
every
it popped
morning I
out.
would wake up saying, oh my, I think I'm going to use my idol tonight, especially once Caroline was gone or definitely once Gabe was gone. I'm just like, what the hell just happened? I lost my number one, and then like I would wake up in the mornings when Kyle was still around. I knew Kyle was gunning for me because we had our thing. Every morning I'd wait. I remember once going to production, like we had a conversation. I'm just like, I think I'm going home tonight. I'm using my idol. And by the middle of the day, it all flipped. And I think Teeny did something stupid and it just, everything flipped and went haywire. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't think Mitch would have a shot in hell to be able to flip that vote. Even
I don't think so
though,
either, unless he could really make a good pitch. But I don't think he was in. I think he was in survival mode.
yeah. And do
Yeah.
you think Chrissy would have gone with him?
Okay, maybe you make a good point. Maybe
Yeah.
not.
Star definitely would, right? Because she's friends with, she thinks she's in with all of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't think Star would. My pitch would have been Cedrek, Chrissy, who have voted together before. Um, Basically Mitch going to them and saying, "Listen, I'm gonna block Eva's vote. She's got an idol.
Yeah.
Let's pop a
It is
loggy."
a good thought.
You know
It
what I
is a good
mean? But I don't know if Mitch is playing like that. And
Yeah.
Mailman Mitch, we found out for the episode, he
I
was a
know.
mailman.
So cute. I know. He's so cute. Yeah.
He
I don't
suits
know.
he
I
suits
have a
a
soft spot
mailman.
for Mitch. I like Mitch. I just, I think all of them are petrified and they're still, now that there is such a huge alliance that's bound together, the
Mhm.
other people need to do something or they're all going to be in trouble. It's going to be that whole group going to the final,
I
final
agree.
5, final 4.
Funny enough, on two thoughts. I mean, funny enough with Mitch in preseason, everyone gave like bold predictions. And Mitch was, I mean, you've had your share of people, giving backlash online, fans and stuff. I mean, to
Yeah.
be fair though, basically every castaway does.
Yeah.
Because the survivor community can be a little crazy at times.
Yeah.
Mitch got backlash because they said, "What's your bold prediction?" And he said, I think this is the first time in a long time that it's going to be an all men's final 3." So people were pretty annoyed right away. They're like, "Oh, there's a woman hater, this, that." I was like, first of all, it's a bold prediction. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He hasn't played yet. Obviously,
Right.
it's obviously it's based on nothing. Um,
100%.
yeah, it's based on nothing. It doesn't matter. And once the game started, and you see he's this guy who's overcome a lot of different problems. I mean, he's a teacher. He's
Yeah.
got overcome different problems, meaning he's had a very significant stutter that is going to create issues growing up.
Yeah.
And even to this day, although I'm sure it's managed super well. So this guy, like, he's good at challenges. He's got his heart in everything.
Please.
And you think to yourself, you're like, how could I hate when people kind of judge people quickly.
Yeah.
And now I hope people have seen that Mitch is a good guy, like you just said.
He is a good guy. I think he's a good guy, and I think he's doing really good for what he's been putting up with. And I mean, once these guys, I saw it with TK, Kyle, and potentially Gabe. As soon as we got together, they formed that bromance, and they were like this, even though Gabe wasn't. The guys immediately said, "We got to stay strong with the men." And this is what is happening again, except, they've got Eva in there, but you can't break into that. You really can't break into that. She's so lucky that she had Joe to begin with and that she's sort of a bro person, that, she's in there, which I think it's good, but in the same breath, nobody else is going to break into that alliance.
I tend to agree. I mean, even to go along with what we were saying right before that is, these guys are probably going to, get to the end right now if someone doesn't do something. And I think the ones who could do something are Kyle and Camilla.
Yes.
Because Kyle's in that alliance, but Camilla's not. But since Kyle's with Camilla, it's interesting. I think maybe they've set themselves up where they're going to be able to kind of destroy from within, maybe.
Yes. And they've already planted the seed about Shanine.
Yeah.
They've planted a seed already. So they're, they've already started for, down the road, getting him, throwing him under the bus. But it's interesting. I don't really know too much about him, but it seems like everyone seems to have a little bit of a question about him and his loyalty, thinking that he's going to be the first to, flip on all of them. So I feel like it's been everybody in their own little conversation. So there must be something else that's happening or being said that they've all picked up on this, that he's definitely probably going to be the first to go out of that big alliance, I bet.
I mean, that would probably be my guess. Funny enough, my answer for why I think that's the case is because I think he's the most complex of all of those players. And I think that's probably why they don't trust it as much. I mean, because you have Joe, which I love Joe.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling like he's not nearly as independent as I thought he would be as a player. I thought he would be more of a shot caller. And now it seems like he said, I think even episode 1, he was willing to throw his game for Eva, which is crazy to me. That just tells me you're not trying to win. And I hate to say that because I love Joe, but I think it's the case. David, again, he talks like somebody who's never actually understood that he could be vulnerable in the game.
Right.
And I don't know if that's smart. Maybe he won't be vulnerable. I don't know. Some people immunity to the end.
Yeah.
Kyle's pretty chill. But Shaheen has that weird, like, I think he has that air of where like you feel like you're being told what you want to hear. And I think the other people don't necessarily have that. So I can understand why he may be the one that's left out in the cold. But he's a good dude. He's got good attributes, it looks like.
Right.
I know he was an alternate for Survivor 46, which is fun.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Survivor 46 alternates, have done well, Rachel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Wow,
I
that's
think,
interesting.
yeah, I mean, I'm super curious to see how he does because I assume he's probably not going to win, but I feel very confident a guy is going to win this game at this point.
Yeah, me
What
too.
do you think? Yeah, yeah.
I definitely, and unless Camilla, she's the only one that I feel like, I mean, look, Eva's got the bond with the guys. I mean, between David and Joe, and just those two alone, I can see the three of them moving forward. But Camilla, she's got me thinking. Like, I feel like she could do something with Kyle and maybe pull something out. I don't know. I think she's the one person that's a strategic player, a strategic thinker. And the fact that they're under the radar is so smart because like not every single one of them has been just sharing everything, which is so annoying. And I think she's playing a good game. I would love if a female, could pull it off again, especially going up against it's all men, all the solid men, because this is what they've got going on, right? It's it's four nipple guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll do that one instead. Why not?
Okay, there we go.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good picture. No, I like David. I just like to me.
Oh yeah, David's great.
Yeah,
David's great.
I'm just sort of turned off by the such a bro alliance already, and it's like I don't know if anybody's going to be able to break into that.
It'll be tough. It'll take someone bold. And the people that I think are bold enough to do it are people like Camilla. I think Kyle will do it too.
Yeah, I
it's
think
just
Kyle
a matter
would
of time.
too. I wouldn't be surprised if Camilla and Kyle pull off a blindside someplace. I think that they're going to be pretty tight. And I think that I guarantee you, they're the only ones that have the shot to do something like that. Nobody else is right. Like Star doesn't really have somebody to do anything with.
No.
Chrissy doesn't. Mitch doesn't.
And someone who would do it, but I don't know if they have the connections or the cachet to do it right now. It's Mary. Mary would take a shot, I think, if she knew other people were on board. Because I think she's too smart and too bold to play boring the whole game. I really just can't believe it.
I just feel like Mary hasn't had a good edit the last couple episodes. So
Not
like
at
I
all.
totally forgot she was in. Like, and I loved her I've loved her in all of the episodes, except I forgot that they just have left her out these last few episodes, I feel, right?
Totally 100%. I mean, we saw her all the time on the Vula tribe, and I think we were all hoping she was the one that would come out of that whole mess. Yeah. But now, unfortunately, I mean, she's taking a back seat.
She doesn't have anybody, right?
I mean, I think she does, but no, I think she has people that she kind of trusts, but I don't think those people feel the same way. So I don't think they've emphasized those relationships, even though she said, yeah, I'm in a group, I don't think the group is what she probably thinks it is.
No, definitely not.
And maybe it'll change. It does look like, so actually to kind of dial back to David, with the milk stuff and the girlfriend story, and a lot of camera time. He's gotten more camera time than most people. I don't know if he's going to win the game, but it's getting to the point where each episode as it goes on, I'm like, I think David's winning this game. And I can't get my head to wrap around it because it's so obvious, I'm not there yet.
I just don't. Yeah.
You don't see it, right?
I don't see it. I feel like there's a little, not a softness, but I don't know. I don't know if I see that. I feel like.
Are you kidding? This is all hard.
Well, I see that. I mean, how can you not see that? But look, it's not. I didn't make it to the final either. But David. I mean, he's hot. He's got a great body. I think I wanted to see more of him being a badass, like since he's a stunt man, right? Like I wanted to. I was hoping to see some crazy stuff from him, like coming out of trees or doing some crazy stuff. And there's really, other than his love for milk, they really haven't done too much of an edit for him.
No, not at all.
I've spoken to him about flying planes, and I know that's what he wants to do and get into. But so he's a really nice guy. I don't know if I see like that cunningness in him the way you need to have, and the ability to burn. Like, I know they want to stay tight. I don't know if I see him being willing to break the mold to move forward.
And I agree with that. And I think that's why he came up with that old school strategy, because I think he's probably limited in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people who are just born to do that kind of stuff, or not
Right.
born, but they have that natural ability to do it.
Right.
Like from your season, I'll just say off the top of my head. I mean, obviously Rachel, she won.
Yeah.
But like Gabe is someone that I think brilliantly kind of comes to that, where he's just got this mind of like a devious, what moves can I make mind.
Oh, Gabe was thinking three steps ahead of everyone else. Gabe was planning everything 3 steps ahead. He was pretty phenomenal at his thought process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, obviously it didn't work out, but it doesn't matter. It's how you work. Cause like, all right, so basically for David, I think he's more along the lines of Kyle, in the complexity of the strategy piece of it. That's at least the way I see it. And I think you're going to need someone who's thinking a couple steps ahead. And I think there's only a few people, Camilla being one of them, the main one, honestly, that I think can do that. And I'm hoping that will happen.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing you got to think about too, he's got a great body and blah, 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 but how is he at puzzles? Because you know what? It's going to start coming down to puzzles. So, okay, if you can whip through a challenge real quick and get done because you're all muscle, now you got the puzzle. And that's the deal breaker, right? Like, how good is David going to be at the puzzles?
Absolutely. I mean,
or any of
we know from her,
right?
puzzles are pretty important.
Yeah.
And ultimately that's right.
Was like that was her winning. That anybody could have beat her. I mean, she was physically good too, but like you got to the puzzle and she just like zoned in and she just had them, so that's I think Camilla's got that in her. You know what I mean? Like they're all good and physical and everything, but when you get to that end of these individual immunity challenges, there's always a puzzle, and that's the issue.
And you know what Camilla's also got on her side? She's from Canada.
Kyle.
Canadians do so good.
I'm telling you, they do. Genevieve was amazing. Yes, exactly.
Locked right in. I don't know what it is.
Was brilliant. I used to tell Genevieve, "You're brilliant." That like if you gave me word association, Genevieve, brilliant. She was brilliant.
Oh, so, yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, she was. She just played the game so brilliantly, and she was amazing. I mean, even like that's the difference with and I don't want to keep comparing, but like Genevieve faked the whole time that she had an idol. Like, how many tribal councils did she make it through because we thought she had an idol? And
do you think that's why a lot of people were afraid she had this fake idol?
Well, we just didn't want to take, I forgot what it was. We thought it was real. Like we had heard the rumors of an idol, and I think because there was always somebody else that we would take, but there were at least 2 tribal councils that we thought she had an idol.
Oh, wow. Okay. I only knew of the one, which is based around, like Operation Italy. I didn't know about 2.
Yeah. There were 2 times that I remember, she told her and Sam pretended that he had one in his pocket. And then there was the rumor of her having it again or something. So
slippery Sam.
Yeah. Good old Sam.
I love Sam. I want to take a moment and say, I love Genevieve too, but I love Sam. Sam was my dude, but then he got stumped. He got stumped in the finals. Well, both of you, I guess, ended up losing that one.
Well, I got killed in the final, but
he didn't do much better, quite frankly. I mean, just what can you do? Rachel steamrolled all the way to the end.
Rachel deserved it. Look, I mean, how can you compete with a female who kicked it on all those challenges, right there alone? And then she did have great gameplay, and she did a lot. She earned it. She really earned it.
Yeah, she killed it. I was so in Sam's corner for a lot of it, because I just wanted to be right. It really wasn't even about necessarily fandom, although I was a pretty big fan of Sam. I was like, no, he's gonna take it.
What did
I like about Sam?
Yeah.
I thought first of all, I thought he had a genuine gift of gab, which is it's a rare skill. Like people always attribute it a lot to like Caleb in Survivor 45 or
Right.
something. I thought he was good with that. Um, I thought his strategy was good. I felt for him because it seemed like he could never get traction in the ground despite having good ideas and good instincts,
Right.
which was unfortunate. The biggest thing for me was I thought he did well as a leader back in the days of Gata. I initially went into the season and I said, there's a good chance I'm not going to like him. He's going to be kind of a douchebag. And once the season started, I went, okay, he's not actually. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Particularly
Yeah.
the I can't remember what the one challenge you all did, but it was where three of you had to hold a rope and coordinate like some rope system. It was Annika, I think Rachel and Sam.
Yeah.
And
He was good.
the ability to calm and lead
Yeah.
Annika and I think it was
Yeah.
Rachel.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, this is a guy that I mean, he steps up, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's great. And I also love that he kept Andy over Annika, even though I love
Right.
Annika.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good move, and maybe
Yeah.
it didn't end up good for him in the end. I don't know. But I just really dug Sam, and part of that is I admit my own biases. I tend to start off being in the bro corner, because
I can
I
tell.
don't know. What do you mean you could tell?
I can tell.
No, I mean for what it's worth, I mean, I loved Andy too, where a lot of people hated Andy. Oh, I
Yeah.
loved him.
Andy's a character. He is so funny.
He's great.
Andy's a character.
Yeah, he's a
So are
fun
you
guy.
hoping that a man wins?
Well, no. Well, okay, so yes and no. I mean, there's three people I would really love to win the game now at this point based on gameplay. And one's kind of a personality. And two of them are women.
Right.
Camilla's who I think could steal this game, and I would love that. Kyle's been my pick since the beginning. And he's proving to me that he may do it.
Yeah.
And now the other one is Mary.
Right.
So I don't know. I wouldn't mind it, but just to even up the numbers a little bit so the guys aren't getting totally stomped around
Right.
in the new era, it'd be nice maybe for a guy to take it, but I'd be happy with some of these ladies too.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I definitely think Kyle. I feel like like Kyle has always showed up a little, like you're always just like, okay, he's got it. Just like with Say, like they've got the brain. And Kyle, this last night's episode with him talking about Shanine and how he's gonna let Cedrek think whatever. But I feel like that was his strategy as well to put this in the universe that you can't trust him, that he's going to flip, that he may have an idol. I don't know. I just feel like that was really, really, really smart gameplay.
Big
So
time.
I think,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
The
so I
plan
think
was,
that
it was what he told Camilla is like, yeah, we're just going to say Shaheen's coming for us. So when we come for him, it looks like we're defending ourselves.
Exactly. Like they just started that. That's going to probably carry on through because everybody keeps talking, everybody talks, and then if he told it to, it's like telephone tag, right? Like he told they said it there. When they all get back together, that's going to be a conversation, and once you plant that in someone's head, that doesn't leave. And I feel like they already have that image of him to begin with. Yeah, that's a good picture.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a little bit of the preview for next episode, but he is talking to Joe, one of those big strong alliance members.
Yep.
Talking about, some of this may become an issue. The preview, I think it's probably all deceiving. I'm sure he's not in danger, but preview is like, well, David's starting to lose it a little bit. He's saying some kooky things. And
well, I didn't really understand. I was trying to figure out what the heck all that meant because
me neither. I have no idea.
And again, the way they edit, they make you nuts because it's usually never what you're thinking is happening, but you never know.
Yeah, I think they made it look like you got murdered in the preview.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. They did.
I was like, are they going to show someone dead next episode?
Exactly. That's so funny.
Just you at the well with the little idol clue. Okay. Yeah. All right. We're good. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's blood everywhere, which that was some of the funny stuff. I mean, sitting there watching you trying to defend having red paint all over the place. And I'm like, dude, I know I want to sit here and mock Sue, but what would I do?
Well,
how can you do any better?
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. When you're there, all you do is compare your injuries. So between cuts, bruises, scrapes, infections, and everything, that's all you have to do is show each other oh, look at this, what I got today. Oh my God, look at that bruise. Look at this. So I couldn't say I cut myself on a part of my body where they would want to see, because they would. So I'm thinking they're going to want to see where I cut myself. So that's why I had to tell them I tripped and I bit the back of my tongue, and that blood makes me queasy, and I usually faint at the sight of blood, and that's why I rolled over. I was dry heaving and I got it in the bottom of my hair. Like they didn't show the whole story, but like I couldn't show them my cut because I didn't have one, but I couldn't, so I had to be inside my mouth. That was the only
good lie. For
right?
as much as you can lie about it, that's a good lie.
Yeah, it was but I knew that they didn't believe me, but nobody said anything, so I just went with it.
Well, yeah, because I guess they were like, well, I'm not willing to. Well, first of all, I don't know if they wanted to make an enemy of you.
Right.
So it was like, why throw it out there if I
Right.
don't want Sue to go anyway?
Right.
I just, and knowledge is power, right? The classic phrase.
Exactly.
So they're like, I'm just going to tuck this in my back pocket in case Sue ever becomes a problem. But
that's why I knew Tiana, I needed Tiana out as soon as it could possibly happen, because I knew she knew that. Yeah.
That's right, Sue. Right there. You know what's going on. Plan B became Plan
Caroline. I knew she would never say anything, but I still never told her until, she figured it out. But, these people, they're just telling everybody everything. There's not one secret on this island. It drives me crazy.
How about, well, yeah, there isn't. You're right. There's no secrets anymore. Because Camilla told everyone about her extra vote. And Mitch told everyone about his block of vote.
Yeah.
The only one who had a secret was Thomas, and he's the one that got the boot.
Yeah.
You're right. What a shame, man.
I know.
I'm really upset about Thomas going. I was a big fan.
He was my favorite. I loved him from the beginning. I thought his brain was brilliant. Oh, literally. Yeah. How great was he as a strategic thinker? And he'd be like, even with Bianca is number one, he's just like, well, I'm not telling her. And, I just love that. That's like my favorite gameplay, when you got someone that can have a great bond with someone, but still not tell them what's going on.
Big time. He was right. He's like, yeah, as much as she's my number one, we may get split up and that could be used against me. So no.
100%. Yeah. Why would you? And they all just talk. Like, I've never seen so many people that just share,
all you have to do is talk, just yap to each other and talk about your cuts and bruises, Sue. What else do you do? Tell each other your advantages. That was the one thing that, of all, like, no matter what anyone could say about the gameplay last season, I said, Sue is doing the one thing that people never do anymore, and she shuts up about her idol. Doesn't tell anyone.
Not a soul.
And that is huge.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun. It was fun knowing that I had that, fun knowing that, when I pull it out, they're going to fall over, because, I went in there wanting to be underestimated. I think I went in too much being underestimated. They didn't know I was a pilot. They didn't know I was a businesswoman. They didn't know anything, and obviously I lied about my age too, because they would have had me dead and buried at 60. But, so I went in there just said I'm a secretary. So I think their image of me was so low, like the bar was set so low that I didn't have a brain, that I didn't have anything going on, that they never would have expected that I found the idol.
Yeah. Meanwhile, surprise. Yeah. Absolutely. And, and you had yourself pretty well insulated too. Being in that relationship with Gabe, which, he was probably, I assume, the biggest target out of you, Caroline, and himself.
100%. Right? Yes. 100%.
It's I think there was a guy I don't know how far back your Survivor history goes. I know you've watched since the beginning, right?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember a guy named?
I don't remember everybody's names. So if you ask me names, I don't remember everybody.
All right. Well, there was a really funny guy in Survivor Africa named Big Tom. He was a goat farmer kind of guy.
Yes.
Well, he played again in Survivor All-Stars with Boston Rob, and he said something like, Rob, I'm happy to be a soldier in the army, but remember, the general that rides on the white horse is the first one to get shot. And that's how I felt about Gabe.
Yeah.
It was great that you were along with Gabe, because, he's a good alliance member, but you yourself chose a really good partner because he's the guy on the white horse. And we got to continue on, even above Caroline.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what, it was always interesting because, I sort of worried about him a lot. And when people, even Kyle came up to me saying, what do you think about doing Gabe? And they all knew I was never writing Gabe's name down and never writing Caroline's name down. And, and he just said to me, Sue, like we finally had a heart to heart. And he's just like, what do you think about Gabe next? And I said, I want Gabe out, but now's not the time. I didn't know what else to say because I knew if I kept being so stubborn, they're going to be like, screw her, so she's always a number for him. So I said to him, I agree with you. We need to get him out, but not this time. And I ran to Gabe. I'm like, Kyle's coming after you. And he did not believe it for some reason. Like he just trusted him. And then they got him out anyways, so it was hard. I tried so hard to protect him, and it sucked because I really would have loved to have gone to my goal was to go to Final 3. I actually wanted all of Tuku to go. I literally, if we didn't have to, take Tiana, I would have loved to go Final 5, all Tuku. It would have been like an epic thing to have happen. And I would have been willing to go with Kyle just because it was Tuku, but
well, Sue, I got to jump in. I got to say, so then with your, with kind of the game plan of, going to the finals, not only with Gabe and Caroline, but Tuku, you got to be, really, you got to be pretty stoked about what's going on with Survivor 48 then with this honesty and loyal alliance. Cause I know earlier you said, well, I'm kind of hoping for a shakeup, but if you were, this is kind of your game this season, I think then, right?
Well, I'm loyal to my people. So, and I had 2 people that I was 100% loyal to. Everybody else I lied to, other than Rachel when they were gone and Rachel and I became close. But, I had a lie to Andy, Teeny, Genevieve, we did all the bullshit stuff that we were doing, so they basically, I like the alliance, but I like gameplay too, and we were very strategic on who to do what to and when to do it. But you could sit there and just watch everything unfold. It was so interesting. You'd see, somebody would tell Teeny something or Andy and they'd run off and just throw them under the bus. And like, you didn't have to do anything. You just sat back and watched everything just unfold right in front of your eyes.
It's
so
wild.
It was crazy. But yeah, I felt like I had my alliances, but then, you had Genevieve and Sam, they had their alliances until they flipped. And eventually you do have to flip, but this
okay. Well, it's good to hear that I'm glad to hear you're fluid about it. Because I think you're more fluid than maybe it gets presented or even to yourself. Like, when you get put in a certain situation, you have to adapt.
Oh, you do have to adapt. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that thankfully, even though obviously we want to play the game and want to do some scheming, build a resume, I think there is a place for loyalty and honesty, but you probably have to limit it to some degree. Whereas this alliance going on in 48, I think it's too big. It's like 5 or 6 people.
And I think it's because they're almost like ruffling they're like gloating about it. And I think that's what I don't like. I feel like yes, exactly. That's too much. Like he's hot, he's good looking, he's got 4 nipples, but it's too much. Like and I think there's a lot of people that are like, ew, because it's too much. Like, how cocky and full of yourself can you be? And that starts to turn people off too. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how good looking you are. When you walk around like you know it, you walk around like, like you got the group and the bromance and the guys that are, all the muscles and the pecs and the drink milk. And that's why I got the pecs. Blah, blah, blah. Like after a while, he's trying to take my breath away.
No. Yeah, no, sorry.
But do you know what I mean though? Like, does it make sense
absolutely.
to you? Right? It's sort of getting to be too much.
Yeah. Because you can have your people and be on, like, for example, like here's a picture of loyalty and pure alliance right here. Look at this.
Oh yeah, my girl. Yeah,
this is what you want. That's you're the shoulder to rest on for Caroline.
Exactly.
And I was bummed when Caroline went. Well, okay. I was bummed when Caroline went because I thought Caroline was a great player and a great person. But it was Operation Italy, so I was also very stoked it happened.
Was crazy.
What a fun time, huh?
Yeah, that was crazy. You know what? I wasn't, I obviously, Caroline was my girl, but I didn't trust her as much anymore once she got Gabe out and blindsided me with Gabe. And that's
Mm.
when I realized that, I mean, of course, I still wanted to go keep moving forward with her, but I realized she wanted to like break free from everyone and play her own game. And that's where I didn't really know where her head was anymore. So
Well,
she,
yeah,
you
she
know,
broke the terms of the contract.
she did. She broke
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
And like that was like I was pissed. I was fucking pissed. You know, but you know, like
Look at
it,
that.
I gave
Look
her
like this.
hey,
Fiery,
I had a clean
fiery.
face. Recognize me.
Oh, you look great.
But you
Oh,
know what? Like that's playing the game too. So I was proud as much as I was upset, I was proud of her. So
mhm.
it was weird because I was proud of her for like taking her stand and wanting to be her. So, you know, I give her credit for doing what she did. It's too bad it somehow bit her in the ass. Me, her, and Gabe could have moved forward a little bit more if she kept him in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
That was a fun ride with the Tuku group.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, unfortunately with like Kyle's a nice guy. It was mostly thrilling because he just kept winning stuff at a
He was
ridiculous rate.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is I never saw any gameplay other than, I don't know, I guess he hated Rome, and I mean, but a lot of people hate Rome.
Yeah.
So I mean, and they had their thing, but beyond
Yep.
that, it was like, and that was it. So it was unfortunate. Whereas Gabe was pretty dynamic, and Carol, well, you three together created kind of a good
We
setup
did.
there.
We did. We could have
So
gotten farther. Both of them could have gotten much farther if they just stuck to the plan, you know?
absolutely. And that is so tough because in New Era, you really don't do that. And it sounds like
Yeah.
in 48, this really large group is trying to stick to the plan. And you know, funny enough to transition, but kind of on the same note, in the previous episode 6, you know, Charity was voted out.
Yes.
The in her exit interview, she roughly talked about the idea that Eva could have been in danger, maybe, but the vibe was, you know, after the big moment she had revealing she had autism and stuff, she didn't think that people really felt super duper comfy with doing it, voting out someone, you know, who's on the spectrum and just had that big moment. And I had to ask myself during that time, like, who's gonna have the balls to vote her out now? You know, this openly, like, really sweet girl on the spectrum,
Yeah.
who's going to feel great about, you know, saying like, all right, we need to get Eva out of here. So then
Well,
I asked a few castaways about it, but I want to hear your perspective. If you're as best you can, you're out there, you know, Eva has an idol, you know, who you've seen what she is. She's a sweet girl and she just made this big moment, but you know, she's tied to people like Joe.
I want her out. Look, everybody has a story. And hers was a beautiful story, but it should have lasted for the 3 minutes it lasted. And then the game is back on, in my opinion. We
Mhm,
all have stories. So yeah, she's a beast. She's not someone you want to sit next to in the final, right?
mm-mm,
Like with her story,
mm-mm,
she's probably gonna. I mean, you can't say she earned the idol, but she sort of you know figured out the puzzle piece, right, to be able to get the idol.
mhm.
And she's probably going to win some challenges, maybe, or she's going to do something spectacular. Who wants to sit next to her at the final tribal?
I have no interest in sitting next to her in
I
the
would
final tribal.
yeah, I don't think I would vote her out tomorrow if I would have voted her out that night, you know, yeah, and you know maybe makes you look like an asshole, but in the same breath, it's a game and it's a game. And she came in here knowing this, and what they had was beautiful, touching, a beautiful moment. But yes, that was beautiful, and you have to even give him more credit because that was something that was like a hero forever. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I mean, what he did for her was like I was crying, but I still would have voted her out if I had to. I would have.
Absolutely. You've been crying as you voted.
I would. Yeah, I would have been finishing my last tear and then
Eva.
writing her name down. Yeah, with a
Yeah,
teardrop on her thing. Yeah, would you? What would
you're
you do?
hardcore, Sue. You're hardcore.
Well, what would you do?
Well, I mean, yes, I would as well. I would like to say
Yeah, of
that. But I mean,
course.
to be fair though, I get to play armchair castaway. I don't have
Mhm.
to live the experience like you all did. But now I'm trying to think, all right, myself, I'm a pretty empathetic guy. So I would like to say that it'd be super easy for me, but it would be harder on me out there. Um, But ultimately, it's a game. It is and she has an idol. The idol does not help her in that
No.
regard. Makes her a bigger target, and she's really tight with, you know, I'm gonna call the meat tray of
Yeah,
like David and Joe. Doesn't
she's
help.
protected. Yeah, she's protected.
She's protected, you know, and it's at some point it's got to happen. I talked to a couple castaways and just sent like a quick message and said, hey, um, what do you think? Like, what would this be like for you? And I think probably the best answer I got back was, listen, it was great. She seems sweet, but um, like on the spectrum or not, having that big moment or not, that all goes away because everyone else is just going to make up reasons that are going to overshadow that. It's going to be like, she's got an idol. Sorry, that's above it.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
fact that I don't want to sit next to her in the finals. That goes above her story,
And
so
you can't even tell she's on the spectrum. She's brilliant. She's brilliant. She's
mhm,
athletic. She's got a great social game. She's like perfect,
she's
right?
great.
She's a perfect person.
Yeah,
So,
and she
in
plays
my
hockey. I love hockey.
yeah, me too. It's badass. Like everything about her is wonderful. And even though she's on the spectrum, which, it's got to be so difficult. And I don't
Mhm,
know what that's like,
mhm,
but in this environment, she's thriving. I think she's thriving. And yes, she did have that pressure and that breakdown in that moment, but like that could be also someone having a panic attack too. And I can't
yeah,
imagine, my heart broke for her, like when this happens, like I'm sure it's hard for her and it's embarrassing and overwhelming. But then when you have like 100 other people sitting there surrounding you, staring at you, watching you go through this, she must have felt so alone and so horrified. And it
yeah,
just made it worse and worse and worse. So, like, my heart broke for her. But after, and she may have more, we don't know. But in the overall scheme of things, she's brilliant. She's like smart. She's everything about her is a perfect person.
oh, she's great. I
Yeah.
love her so much, and it's all the more reason why you gotta dump her. You gotta get over that, and you gotta dump
She's a
her.
threat. I wouldn't want to sit next to her. I'm telling you right now. I'd be like, we got to get her out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's funny.
100%.
I was thinking, and you're talking about like what happened in the challenge that she had, kind of an episode. And man, you were there for whatever the equivalent was in 47, where
Yeah,
Andy had his time in the first. I
yeah,
mean, there was a lot of things to worry about in the first challenge. You got your jitters. You don't want to
yeah,
be the first one to go home, and da 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 da. But it's impossible to skip, you know, Andy on the mat when you all are done celebrating, and you're like, what is going on over
yeah,
there? how,
yeah.
how
My
did
heart
how
broke
did
for
you
him.
take that?
Well, we didn't know at the time, like he sort of milked that a little bit, which we didn't know that he was sort of milking it a little bit.
Mm,
So, but at the time, my heart, I like cried. I felt horrible for him. Again, I'm as much as I can be a jerk, I feel bad for people, and because we're all humans and we're all going through something. And I really believed that he had like a little bit of a heat stroke or overheat exhaustion or whatever it was, and
mhm.
that then he was embarrassed. And then when he stood up though and just said, I'm about to throw my best friend John under the bus and blah blah blah. And we were just like, what is he saying?
Yeah.
Like that was crazy. But
I was like,
he
that's one of the craziest starts I've ever seen in the
that
game.
was the craziest start. I mean, you're just like, okay, better him than me.
Yeah.
Like, and every time something does happen, I hate to say it, but I'm always just like better them than me because like it
Well,
could be me.
yeah,
It could be one of my tribe mates, and we need to go in strong, and we need all of our people. And you know, yeah,
absolutely. It's like, you
but
don't need
Andy's
any of
was
those
sort of
problems.
fake a little bit. He sort of, you know, it
Do you
this
think
wasn't
you
as
think he poured it on a little
yeah,
bit?
he admitted that he poured it on. He just said he decided he was just exhausted, so he decided to sort of milk it a little bit and just keep playing that role.
Do you think he was doing it knowing he was safe, or do you like? Because I'm curious why he would do that. Because it feels like they would put him in danger.
Um, I don't know if he thought he was safe. I don't know. I think he felt that he was better, more physically fit than John. So maybe that he felt like he could make John be the target. I'm not sure. I don't
Mm.
know what that I wouldn't be able to answer that. I don't know where he thought he was at that time. Good old Andy and his hair.
Yeah. Oh, he's got wonderful hair.
Oh,
I met him for the premiere,
uh,
48. Lovely, because I do love Andy.
yeah,
I love
he's a great
little
guy.
I love rat characters. Do you watch Australian Survivor by any chance?
I don't, but everybody's telling me I gotta watch it. I don't even know where to find it. How do you
Uh,
find it?
oh, I can link you. It's a
Thank you.
wild ride. They're about to have the finale of the current season, but
Okay.
just I'll just make a reference to it. There's a guy who's known as the Jungle Rat, and I think Andy was your 47's Jungle Rat, and I love a good
Really?
Jungle Rat, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, so for that, like, it was very interesting. I met him at the premiere, and when I was like, "Hey, I just want to get a photo with you," and fix his hair, which I totally get. I used to have long hair, and I'm all about fixing my hair before, because if you have it, you got to make it look good.
He's got a
Sue.
head of hair. Let me tell you, head of
Oh
hair.
yeah, yeah. Look at this, Sue, Andy, best heads of hair in Survivor 47, zero question.
But his hair is it's crazy. I just had dinner with him last weekend or week and a half ago, him and Teeny, and the hair is just ridiculous. And he knows how to like Fabio, right? Like whip his head.
Oh yeah, oh my God, the good old Fabio days. I wonder what he's up to then now.
He's
Oh
probably
my
dead.
God,
Is he still alive?
he could be. I don't know. We're gonna find out while I'm thinking about this. I
Okay.
wonder if he actually exists right
He's
now.
probably like 100 years old.
Fabio
Or he's my age.
Lanzani.
He's probably my
He's
age.
he's 66.
Okay. A
Oh
little
my
bit
gosh,
older.
I didn't know
He's
he was
still
born in
alive?
Milan.
What's that?
I didn't know he was born in Milan.
Oh no. Yeah, I
Wow.
never knew where he was born.
Wow, and he's not that much taller than me. I thought he was huge.
Do you have a picture of him now? Like what he
Oh,
looks like now?
well,
Scary.
I don't know. I'm trying to find it. Maybe he's got like an Instagram. For all of you who don't know out there, if you're some of the younger folks, Fabio, a dude named Fabio, not the Survivor 21 winner. This is a dude who used to be a model. Maybe he still is. Who knows? And beautiful hair. Oh my God.
He was known
Beautiful.
for his hair. Yeah.
It looked like it had the texture roughly of a beautiful Clydesdale.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh wow. I don't know if I can pull it up, but he looks good.
Does
He
he?
looks older. He looks older, but he looks like himself.
Okay.
He looks like David if he put on a wig and had a few more wrinkles. I guess that's probably the best way to describe it.
Okay,
But
that's
I'll see if I
interesting.
can find it here.
Okay.
But okay, so that's a bummer they don't watch Australian Survivor, but that's okay. I'm only recently gotten into it, Sue. And
I've heard you know what? Ever since I watched Deal or No Deal Island and what David that won Survivor Australia,
yeah.
then I was just like, oh, I need to maybe start watching that. And then I was on I was talking to someone else and they had mentioned, Survivor Australia. I'm like, okay, I think I just don't have time right now. Eventually I need to record it or something so I can binge it.
Yeah, come on. It's like, Sue, you're not doing anything else. You only own like an aviation school and have multiple animals and a family, and
Yeah.
you don't have time to invest everything into Survivor. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. I was lucky I watched last night. Usually I record it and I was just like, I better make sure I watch it tonight. So
And I appreciated that.
I go to bed
Like,
early, so
oh yeah.
but I'm up early. I get up at like 4:30 in the morning.
4:30? What are you getting up at 4:30 for? You're not on the island anymore.
I go walk 2 miles every morning.
What?
Yep. And then I start my day.
That's pretty impressive. When you go to sleep?
What?
Like roughly.
Well, I try to go to bed I try to stay up till 9:30, and the second my head hits the pillow, I'm out cold.
Basically, once Survivor's done airing, out.
Done. Out.
Yeah. Now, okay, that's impressive. Yeah, I'm the worst. I go to sleep like 12:30 or 1. It's awful.
Oh you're kidding me. What time do you go to bed though?
I like, what time do I actually hit bed?
Yeah.
It depends on the night. Probably 11:30, and then I'll stay up. I like watch episodes of Seinfeld. It's ridiculous.
Do you really?
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's so great.
That's a good show.
Then I have a normal, 9 to 5. I work at a university, so I'm up and sleepy, but I don't know what it is. I can power through.
Yeah, you're sleepy during work, and then once you start doing all this stuff, you're wide awake.
Oh
right?
my God. No, that's the Susie Q effect. That's what's got me going at the moment. I don't know what to say.
Oh, Susie Q.
Yeah. Actually, a quick question for you. So we talked about the grip challenge ages ago. Obviously you won that in Survivor 47, or you co-won it with Kyle. And it makes me think about it. Is obviously Rachel won a lot of necklaces, but next to Rachel in 47, I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say that you were probably the, female challenge badass. And just for funsies, if you had to do if there were some ladies from the new era that you think you could go up against in some challenges, who ideally would you love to run against, or you think would be a good competition?
Who would be my
or who would you even like to, as opposed to like not even necessarily who you think you would beat or they'd beat you? Who do you think would be fun to kind of test?
I think Star. I think Star is.
Mhm.
I think Star is definitely got some strengths. I think Eva would be really tough, but I'd like
Mhm.
to go against her. She's lasted the longest, against the men with my challenge.
Mhm.
I think Mary.
Mary's a good one. Okay.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
about I throw some names at you and let me know kind of what you think? How
Meaning that
about
I'd like to compete with them or against them.
against them?
Okay.
Yeah, I want you to
Well, I
beat them
always
in the
want to
end,
beat
Sue.
everybody.
Yeah.
I'm very competitive. If I've got I'm gonna put it all out. So we can see who I think would be my biggest challenge.
Okay. Well, okay. So here's some folks just for the heck of it. What about like Survivor 45D, the eventual winner?
I'd
She's
like
a
to
tough
go
one.
against her. I'd like to go against her.
She'd be a
Like
good ride.
these girls are all badass, and again, I'm gonna be 60 in a few months, so like I'm not as strong as I used to be, but I still think I could give them a run for their money. Like I've got like a mental strength that I'm really able to try to push through, and like it's all about winning. So I do
Yeah.
it until my body shuts down, basically.
I think so. Well, yeah, absolutely. I think so too. I mean, that's how you win a grip challenge like that. It's I mean, because the record holder was Gabler
Right.
up until last night. And
Yeah.
truthfully, like if you think about all the people who've done it, like is Gabler purely stronger than, I don't know, like we'll just say like Sam or something
Right.
from 47. I don't know. But what I do know is whatever it is, he locked in.
Yeah.
And that's what I think you certainly have the ability to do. And
Yeah.
it kind of speaks to that. Now,
Yeah.
one person I'll throw out. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sue.
No, I was going to say, like, it's interesting because I think Roth is going to start barking again. I found like I think Sam dropped pretty quick though, so it's
Yeah, he did.
interesting because you got like I think even watching Soul drop, I was just like so shocked that like Andy beat out Soul, which
Mhm.
Soul's just beast, right? He's a
Soul is
beast.
built like an actual bull.
He is, yeah,
I don't know how. I thought he was gonna take it, but I mean,
yeah,
he also weighs a lot though too. So I guess
yeah. What was it, 28% or 30%, 25% of
I
our
think it was
body weight?
25. I think it's
Yeah,
because that's the thing. I'm sure you have a pretty low body fat percentage,
yeah,
and like you've got strong arms.
yeah.
So I'm not surprised you murdered some people in that challenge.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it felt good. And like when they were dropping, I was just listening to the names and I'm thinking, "Oh my God, this is crazy." Like I could keep going and like it was weird, very weird, but I don't know. And some
Yeah.
things are good, people can do, some people, like you can't, but I'm really
Absolutely.
good with puzzles. So
Well, how about this? How about what if Maria from
I beat
46?
her.
You would beat Maria?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. I throw a challenge out there. You take her down.
Yeah. Take it down.
Okay, good. Because she's one of those badasses. I mean, another
She is
one.
badass. I love her. She is badass.
She's great. Another one.
Uh,
Cass from 43.
I would take her on. I don't know if I could beat her,
Kick
but
her
I would
ass
take her
too.
on. I would try. I
All
would
right,
try.
that's all we need.
Well, all I can say is I would try. Obviously, I don't know, but
This isn't the
I like
confidence of the woman who wore the bat necklace. Okay.
there you go, baby.
All right, well, this is good. I had to ask about Maria because I'm a big fan of Maria as a player and
Yes.
immunity threat. Which I mean,
Yeah.
heck, she ended up having two people essentially take her down in a challenge just to
What
stop
did you
her.
think about that? Wasn't see like I didn't see that because I was away filming.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you are.
when I finally came back and put the TV on to watch it, that broke my heart. I felt so bad for her.
Yeah, I mean that. So I remember when I made a video right away about it, I was like, I got to be straight up about it. I mean, I knew Maria was probably going to lose because she had this like Godfather edit. She was doing too well, frankly, at final 5 or 6.
Oh wow.
And when that happened, um, I was like, okay, so I respect Liz and well, Liz mainly for the one who went and got the puzzle piece to give to Kenzie to
It's
ultimately
ballsy.
beat Maria. Super ballsy. Good for Maria or good for Liz to basically have the balls to go do that
Yeah.
unprompted because they needed Maria out or the game was done. But I criticized Jeff Probst because that is a slippery slope, man. You can't let people
Can't
help other
cheat.
people in challenges like
Yeah.
that, physically at least.
I
I mean,
agree. I
I mean,
agree.
it's one thing where you like give advice on a puzzle or something. That's happened a bunch of times, but the precedent had already been set. Um, this is where I show kind of my nerddom a little bit. In Survivor South Pacific, it was like the final four, final five. It was like Sophie, this guy Albert, Sophie, the eventual winner, Albert, Coach, Ozzy, the legendary Ozzy. They all wanted to beat Ozzy, and they were doing a challenge where you had to stack stuff. And Albert or Sophie dropped some pieces, and she said, "Albert, drop your stack. Come get my pieces and give them to me," basically, so I don't have to stop. And Probe said, before anyone gets any ideas, let me tell you now, this is individual. There'll be no helping each other. And the precedent was already kind of set, right?
Yeah.
And he said it blatantly, he said, if you want to beat Ozzy, beat Ozzy.
Beat 'em.
And
Beat
that's
'em.
kind of how I felt about the Maria thing.
I agree.
Although great television though, Sue.
Oh, well, that's what, like, that's what's interesting is Jeff is like, this is a family show. This is a fair show. This is a this is a that. But that was two people ganging up on one person in an individual immunity. It broke my, if that were me or that were my mother or I would want to fucking kill them. Right? Like, I don't know. It broke my heart. I really felt bad for her because she deserved a win. She deserved the final win. I
Yeah.
think she
Because
was
she was
brilliant.
also in striking distance of, I mean, the record that Rachel tied of, I think, four necklaces,
Yeah.
that would have been Maria's fourth.
See?
And she would have possibly won the next one too.
Yeah.
So she could have possibly broken it. And it didn't roll her way. That's the game. I do blame Probst, but that's one of my things. Unfortunately, I blame Probst for a lot of stuff now.
Uh-huh.
Not like game mechanic wise, I don't complain about the new era's game mechanics anymore. The only thing I don't love is people losing their votes, because that's always been the whole core of the game. If you don't have anything else, you at least have your vote.
Yeah.
And so I don't like that. But Probst says there's like a payment with everything these days. The only time I have a problem with Probst is when he stops being the stoic guy and instead he's like pulling out licorice at tribal council or popcorn
I
or
was because I had seen that and then I went and we filmed. I kept praying, like that was in my head then that he would pull something out for us, or even like one piece of a chocolate chip cookie, something. And we never got anything. It was so frustrating because I'm like, why did he do it last season and not for us? It was
that's
very
right. Where's our movie treat or
something.
concession
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, so I don't like that stuff personally, or I don't like when he's talking about dancing and then does a dancing gesture. I didn't like when he had Rome sit in his seat. I thought that was really gimmicky. And that's where I will say I think a lot of people yap about Australian Survivor too much, although I'm becoming a fan. Their host is like old school Probst.
Oh, really?
He doesn't do any of this stuff. He's pretty stoic.
Yeah.
But overall, Survivor is always great. I will say that, even if it's a little stale, like right now, I think Survivor 48 is a little stale.
Yeah.
But stale Survivor is still better than the majority of other shows out
I
there.
agree.
And I'm very thrilled to watch it still.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, it's still so entertaining. It's still good. You love the people, you're always waiting for their cliffhangers of waiting for next week, what's going to happen. They get you every time. So it is good. It's just, I don't think it's the best season so far.
No, but there's potential. I think there's potential.
Always is. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
But I think, like, to your point earlier, I mean, really the only thing that we can see right now, you never know how it's going to shake up, but right now, that's probably going to, switch up the order of things, is if like a Kyle and Camilla really start to leverage their position as a really strong two that no one knows about.
Yeah. They could grab all the underdogs and just do a full-blown something.
Yeah, get a revolt going.
Yeah, they could. Like, that's what something needs to happen. Like, let's hope that this, next week's episode is really going to get us back up on our heels again.
Absolutely. So, you know what? I think, God, because I could ask you a million things, but I know that I'm running the tape a little long here.
It's okay.
So I guess kind of a closing thought. For I don't want. I normally like to talk about season 50. I'm trying not to go too hard into that, because I mean, Sue, you could be a potential person to be on that season, of course.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. And truthfully, I don't like to put people in a weird spot where they have to comment one way or another. Right now, with the voting going on, at least, we've had 2 rounds. there's been some things we voted on, like rice, should contestants have it.
Right.
I'm indifferent. It does have a big impact on the game, of course, but as a viewer, honestly, I'm indifferent to it. I don't
Yeah.
mind if people have rice. That means better
Right.
decision making. So it could be
They
fun.
always had rice, right?
Uh, a lot of, well, sometimes there was a period of time where they took food away generally, but the rewards seemed like they were
True.
bigger. So I think there was a little bit of a trade off.
Mhm.
So that, I mean, tribe colors was one of the votes, which I'm thankful for only because the new era, like again, I told you before this all started, I'm a buff collector, and I've
Yeah.
noticed all the new era buffs, they're basically all the same. I mean, the
Yes.
merge buff this season might as
I
well be
know.
cuckoo.
I know. I'm shocking.
Yeah. Oh, which by the way, actually, hold on, I'm going on my own diatribe. When we talked about the milk stuff earlier, did you know that the tribe's name is like milk in like Mandarin or
Yes.
something?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Blue milk
Loves
or
milk
whatever.
or something.
Crazy.
Milk lover.
It's crazy, Sue. What kind of world we living in? It's all about
I
milk.
I don't, like we came up with Becca, again, you try to come up with a whole bunch of names and then one is approved type thing. And Becca means bat. So because at night the
Of
bats
course.
were wild and loud and screeching. And then it was the biggest symbol on, obviously you could see the
That's right.
biggest symbol on our tribe. So, we came up with Becca. At least it was like not geared around one person's love
Yeah,
with milk, right?
exactly. Come on, man. Come on, four nipple guy. Let's get
Yeah.
it together. All right.
Oof,
I don't know
yeah,
what's worse, the blue milk thing or season 30. They had a tribe called America.
yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild times.
I don't know. I
um,
guess you know what? I guess they got each has their own, and you do your own thing, and
mhm.
not everybody's gonna love it. I don't know.
Absolutely. Now, I guess a kind of a closing thing for the questions for season 50 then. What do you think is something that you would love for the fans to be able to vote on for season 50?
Well, I have to be. You're gonna be so bored with this, but I haven't even looked at it because I personally think they're doing this. They're gonna do 50 the way they want to do it and say that this was voted in, but it's
Mhm.
more to just get the fans engaged.
Yeah.
No, that was just my thought, and I was just like, I haven't even looked at any of the
You're like, it
anything.
doesn't matter. They're gonna make up the results
There,
anyway.
I feel like as much as I just think this was more of a gimmick to get people more engaged, more excited about 50,
Mhm.
thinking that your vote's going to matter. And one of the options that they're putting out there is going to be one of what they've chosen personally. That's what I think.
Fair enough. Because one of those is fire making. They're like, should we have Final Four fire making?
What do you think about that?
I'm pro. I'm pro fire making.
I
Because
love fire making. I
I
think
think it's
that is
good.
crazy. I mean, it's been epic. This last, like, Teeny and Sam, that was an epic fire making.
That was
I
awesome.
I think that's part of Survivor. Like, if I hope they don't. I don't think they'll take that out. I think that this is, you know,
Yeah. I
they're
mean,
it's already they probably got the set already paid for, bought, and everything's ready, and they're ready to rock and roll, right?
I mean, honestly, that may be very true. I have a friend who goes to Fiji every once in a while, and I remember he randomly will like go like, "Hey, I'm at the beach at the warehouse where they store all the Survivor stuff, and it's already
No
like a lot of it's
way.
already painted." And I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
not for the next season, but it was actually for 46.
Okay.
I think it was a little bit after 44 aired or something like that. But he was showing me, he was like, "Yeah, these are the tribe colors, these are the tribe names. Here's the challenges they're gonna do."
It's already done. In my opinion, this has been done since last year.
It's all an exercise, huh? Yeah. I mean, it could very well be the case. I mean, I will say this for fire making, I'm on board. And even though I think a lot of the internet is kind of vocal about getting
They
rid of
don't
it.
like it?
No, they
Why?
hate it. They hate it.
Why?
I think they hate it because it's not a vote, and they feel votes are the only thing. Fire's luck. I mean, like the teeny Samson thing, it seemed like the wind had a lot to do with it, you
Yeah.
know. But I mean, the
Fire is
Survivor,
life. Like that's their whole theme is fire is life, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean, and it's an epic, like it's so epic when you win it, right? Like that's another notch in your belt for final tribal council too, right?
absolutely. I mean, if you could, like, just as a kind of an example, if you could take yourself back to the Final Four time, if it was a pure vote, is Sam going?
Yeah, Sam would have gone. Yeah, we
Yeah.
wanted me, Teeny, and Rachel. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sam was
you
gone.
3 would have dogpiled on Sam,
We
and
would
that
have
was
yeah, he would have been out the door, it would have been boring, like, he would have known it too.
yeah, because at best, it would have been, let's just say he could swing one person. It'd be
He wasn't
2-2.
swinging me or Rachel, and Teeny's not gonna go look, if Teeny knows that Rachel and I are going for Sam because he was more of a threat than Teeny,
Mhm.
right? And more of a threat than me, so, like, Rachel's gonna bring me, obviously, and she's gonna bring Teeny because she thinks she can beat her, like, we would have all jumped on Sam in a heartbeat.
Absolutely, and I
That's
think so
boring.
too.
That
So
is boring.
it made it much more interesting, at least as a show, and for
Yeah,
myself, I was someone who, during that finale, I still thought Sam could win, even though it was really silly, but
right.
I thought Sam could win. I thought he was, probably the biggest challenge. I could see him making the argument. I
Yeah.
did blah, 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 which again amounted to nothing.
Well,
But if he didn't have fire, there was no way he was getting there, so I was like,
yeah,
"It's gonna be a worse show."
exactly. And
Uh,
I was very shocked. I thought for sure Sierra was for him. He bonded with all the guys. They had a relationship, like just sports, and with Gabe, and him and Gabe, definitely him and Saul. Like, he
mhm.
definitely. I was expecting him to get more votes that he did. I was surprised. I knew that obviously Kyle would never vote for me, and I didn't think Kyle would ever vote for a female. So,
Mm. So
I knew
then that's how
Kyle was.
Sam got the
Yeah,
vote.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew Kyle would be voting for him, but I expected Sam to get many more votes than just one.
I thought
So
he
it
did
was,
too, based on pure charm. And also, he made the arguments I was making for him in my videos. So I said, in my mind, I'm like, well, clearly I'm brilliant. And he agreed with me. So obviously he's going to win.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
then I
I just
showed how
felt like
dumb
he
I
didn't have
was.
a lot to show. He had great, so had a great social game, but he never won a challenge. He found Andy's idol that obviously, if Andy could find it, anybody could find it. And like, he was good at challenges, but he never dominated.
No.
He won the food challenges, so he was well fed. He
Yeah.
won, I think, every food challenge that they had
He did
he
truly
was
lock in when he needed to.
yeah, he got lucky, but
And
with
whereas
that,
Rachel did. And
yeah,
I dogged Rachel week to week because I said, all right, well, if she wasn't safe every single week, maybe she would go.
yeah.
Whether it be, Saul letting her leave tribal council, or getting an idol
How
from
many
this
9
fun
lives did she
journey.
have, right? That was
She had a ton.
yeah.
And sometimes it's the great Tom Westman of Survivor Palau, one of my favorite winners ever. Firefighter guy, ruled everything. He said, Survivor is 50% mental, 50% physical, 50% luck. And I think Rachel, that she was the one that all three just were firing all cylinders for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the stars were aligned for her. Yeah.
absolutely. So
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of the fire making because I think it gives the best players like two chances to get
it
to
does.
the final three.
Mhm,
And I mean, maybe it'll fail. Like the big example is Survivor 43, Jesse. Um,
mhm.
great player, didn't make the final tribal,
Yeah.
and he probably would have swept everyone if he did. He was never going to get voted to the final tribal. So
No.
fire
Yeah,
making gave him that chance, and
yeah.
he failed, but,
Yep, you're right. You're right.
without it, there's no hope.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's
100%.
why I'm a fan of it.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of an outlier.
Yeah. Well, but I'm a fan of it too. I think that it's just been what they've I mean, I don't know, it's just part of the like, I just, like you're saying, it'd be so boring just having it be a plain vote. Like,
Absolutely.
you're getting the next strongest, whoever has the idol, right? Or has won the immunity necklace, they're gonna eliminate the strongest player.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
There's nothing they can lose by doing that.
nothing they can lose, but and I think it's exciting. It's scary. It's exciting. The energy that night when Sam and Teeny were doing that was y- every single person, you could just feel their vibe of just being afraid, being excited, being like, oh my God. And then, like, Teeny's burning. And then all of a sudden, and Sam's trying, nothing's happening. And we're like, oh my God, she's got this. And then the wind, and then he starts going. And like the turnaround, like, you couldn't help but, I didn't want him to win, but I couldn't help but cheer for him because
Yeah.
it was so epic and it was just so emotional. And my heart broke for her. But in the same breath, I was actually so happy for him because I felt so bad that he had done so poorly in the beginning. Like it was
Yeah.
just it's amazing how it flips, your emotions just flip. And that's the thrill of Survivor,
Yeah, who
right?
doesn't love a good comeback story?
Oh, yeah,
Everybody
that was
does.
crazy. So, and he's thinking of his dad, and I just everything. It's so emotional, and them taking the fire away. I don't think they're going to. There's that.
I don't think
That's.
so either.
Mm-mm. I
And I
don't.
don't
I
want them
think
to.
no, they're not going. I don't think they're going. I think that they've already got this exactly the way they want it. They're. I think it'll be exactly what they're been planning all along.
I think so, and at least rumors, and obviously you don't have to comment any of it because if you know anything, um, the rumors are all out there that like a bunch of like new era people that a lot of people thought were probably going to be locks for the season, were cut,
Yeah.
and two of them, one I just talked about is Jesse from Survivor 43,
Mhm.
and Carolyn
Mhm.
Weiger from Survivor 44,
I know.
which
Shock.
those two, yeah, those two are like the biggest virtual locks I can think of the new era. One of them I think is probably going to be on there, a different lock, Jonathan from 42.
Right.
But like that's just my lock. Most people do not have him on that list.
Right.
So I heard that was the case, and it sounds like it's in lieu of Survivor Legends. Like
Oh,
maybe,
really?
yeah, to see because apparently, supposedly rumored in innuendo, like CBS is kind of forcing the hand of production to get like an Aussie, get a Stephanie LaGrossa from Pullout, get a Sari. I don't think Parvati, but some like people along those lines.
Yeah.
So,
Why don't you
that's
think
why
Parvati?
not Parvati?
Yeah.
I honestly I don't think Parvati because I think she's doing a lot of other things. She's actually
Mhm.
there's we talked about Australian Survivor. They're gonna have like a mini game soon where it's Australia versus the world, and Parvati
Okay.
is gonna compete on that,
Right.
along with Sari and Tony Vlachos.
Right. And
Um,
was there somebody else too?
oh, actually,
Sorry.
the Deal or No Deal Island David should be on there, I think.
Right. Very
And
cool.
not from, the US Survivor. I think those are the only ones, though.
Okay. Okay.
So but it's a mini game, and she could go out there and do it again. Personally, I don't really wanna see her again.
Right.
She's great. She's great,
Yeah.
and if she's on there, I'm on board.
We're seeing a lot of her. We're seeing a lot of her lately, right?
We're seeing a lot of Parvati lately, which is usually a good thing, but in this instance, it's just a lot,
Yeah.
Like, David's a good guy in 48, but we're seeing a lot of David, so I kinda wanna push it back a little bit.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting. Interesting.
yeah, yeah, so that's how I feel
It's
about
going to
that.
be
I mean,
so exciting, right?
oh,
It's going to be
absolutely.
fun. It's going to be
I'm
really good.
I was really hoping for a new era versus old school theme, though, and it doesn't look like they're going to go that direction. So you know what? If they're not going to do it thoroughly, like cutting people like Carolyn and Jesse, then they can do whatever they want for
Yeah.
50. And I want very badly, not long after, a new era All Stars.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yes, and I think you're certainly on that list, which would be wonderful to see.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Well, we'll
Yeah,
see
so
it.
some of this smack talk about Maria and Dee
Yeah.
Dee it'll bubble itself up in a podcast clip, a year or two
Yeah.
from now when that comes into fruition.
Yeah. That'd be
It'll be
fun.
great.
That'd be fun. Hey, you never know. You
You
never know with these people.
you
I
absolutely
just
never
hope they
know,
keep it
Sue.
going, right? Because I think
Absolutely.
there's just so many fans and so many new fans, so many young, I think, I don't know if you'd seen, I had a little boy, 13 years old. He hand wrote me a letter and mailed it, to my flight school. And so I had his mom drive him, he was like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And I said, come on, I'll take you for a flight. So like these young kids are so into it, and so like they can't stop it. My daughter
Absolutely.
started watching it at 7 years old. Yeah. So like, it's so good for these kids.
Yeah, it's like this game based on like deceit and manipulation. Boy, the kids eat it up, huh?
They do. Yeah.
Including myself. I was
Yeah.
like 12 when I
Oh,
started
really?
watching. I loved it.
Aw.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so cool. And
You never wanted to go on?
oh, I've always wanted to go on. I applied a bunch of times. In
Yeah.
college, I at least got to the first round, which was cool. It was for Survivor
Oh, really?
Nicaragua. Yeah, right after Heroes versus Villains. It was probably probably the eventual winner, Fabio, which by the way, his name is Fabio. Well, his name is Judd,
Yeah.
but they called him Fabio, going back to what we
Right,
talked
right.
about earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, he probably took the spot I would have been in as like the long-haired college guy. Fail.
That's
But yeah, I've tried. I've
crazy.
always wanted to. I still apply now. I'm kind
Good.
of at
Keep
peace
doing
with
it.
the idea. Yeah, I'm at peace with the idea. I'm probably not going to be getting on it, but I want to be like Sue's. I want to be like Susie
Yeah.
Q.
There you go. Yeah, you can do
Yeah.
it. Don't give up. Don't give
Yeah.
up. You just
Oh,
never know. You just need the right person to see the video, your right time, right person, the right piece of the puzzle that they need to fill in for the different categories they need.
oh
So
yeah.
don't give up.
They need to understand my natural charisma. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Just show them that.
Yeah, you do what you can. I'm a quirky dude, so hopefully they're like, oh, this quirky guy will fit in with these
But
other
they like
people.
it that they want quirky. They don't want anything other than quirky and wacko and definitely. Yeah, they don't want that. They 4 nips are never coming back. No more nips.
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's definitely there's a lot of room for a lot of people. Even Kyle, Kyle's like conventionally awesome in a lot of different ways. Um,
Yeah.
but one of my favorite moments of Kyle from this season was where he was like, it seemed like he was kind of impressionable and a little quirky. It actually involved David. It was when David was talking about how his girlfriend
Oh,
left him because
broke up with them.
he didn't have a steady job. And
Right.
I remember he was like, yeah, I live in, I live in
Well,
not a trailer, but like a trailer in front of my dad's house. And Kyle was like, oh, cool, man. And David like, not cool, man. Like,
yeah,
that's not cool.
yeah. He
And I was
wasn't.
like, oh,
Yeah.
Kyle's so sweet. He's like a dog in that way, like the
Yeah,
mentality of like, oh, that's cool.
yeah, exactly. And I have to say, I think Kyle's gorgeous. There's something about him that when I look at him, I think he's really, really good looking.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he's good looking.
He's a good,
I,
he seems like a good, conventionally good looking dude. Now,
yeah,
myself, I am a straight man, so I am not the greatest authority on what's a good
he's
looking
good
dude, but
looking.
I can
But again,
say
a lot
he's
of
a good
them are
looking
good.
guy.
Yeah, he is good looking. And Joe's good looking too. I mean, I like all of them. Joe, him, David. They're definitely we
Oh
got some
yeah.
lookers. We got some
Do you
bodies and lookers. Yeah, that's my favorite picture. That's something that like
do you
should
think
be
he
posted up
got like a
someplace on a billboard.
do you think he got like a bajillion fans when this happened? Like so many
Yes,
women
a
in their
bajillion,
backgrounds are like,
a
oh my
bajillion.
God,
Yes.
he is so
Yeah. What
caring.
woman doesn't want a man to come and rescue her
Oh, it's like a
forever?
picture book,
For
picturesque story. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah. That was like a moment that every single person was just like, I'm in love with Joe.
Practically even myself in
Other
that
than
moment,
you.
I'm like, man, he's a good dude, man. He's doing everything that like
Yeah.
we as men, we grow up generally speaking, we hear about like the idea of, the knight in shining armor. And he was
Prince
that,
Charming. Yeah.
he was that in the
Yeah.
moment. And
100%. He saved her.
he's a
He saved her.
nice guy. Yeah. And it was, that's
Got
actually
a
another one of
rocky
those
body.
moments. Great body. Drinks a lot of milk. That's how you get there.
Yeah.
Uh,
That damn milk.
Says he drinks a gallon a day. They're like, what? Don't you go to like the store a lot?
It's
They're like, yeah,
it's
corner store every day.
yeah. Well, I guess it works. They're gonna start selling more milk, I guess. I don't know.
That's right. There's gonna be a run on it at this point. I mean,
There is.
if you can somehow look like
Guys are
Joe,
gonna be drinking milk getting fat when they're like, why aren't my pecs getting bigger, but my belly's getting bigger?
That's right. You got to start lifting some stuff. You got to do some grip
There you
challenges
go.
here.
There you go.
Even
Exactly.
Eva. Do you have like the Eva's like quads? Those things are huge.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's from hockey, right? Like
Yeah.
she's a beast.
She is.
I mean, telling you, I think that, I mean, the fact she's sitting pretty, right? She's got an idol. She's protected by her group. And on top of that, I think she could handle everything on her own. I think she's really could win a lot of, I'm foreseeing her winning some stuff. I think she's going to do some stuff.
Oh yeah. I don't think she leaves the island without one necklace.
No, definitely not.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think she's definitely got it in her to actually take one away. I mean, it looks like she's built to just for competition.
She is. She's
She
totally built for competition.
she's sporty
I
spice
can't
over
wait to
here.
see more of her.
Me neither. She's pretty awesome, man. Oh,
Yeah.
what a ride.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry. So we've been going on for such a long time, and Sue's
Oh,
been
that's
super
okay.
duper
This has been fun.
grateful. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I have no ridiculous kind of games with you on this, unfortunately, because you know what, the conversation has been so fibrous, and
Yeah.
I think there's been some really awesome points where we've been able to kind of dive into topics even more than I initially kind of planned for. And I appreciate it. So I'm glad, I'm happy to take a little bit more of a kind of a serious tone with it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be like, hey, we're gonna dive into, I don't know, favorite. Like, I do actually have interest in a few different things now that I think
Okay.
about it. Real
What's
quick,
up?
real quick. Now, this is like bio stuff that I don't know if anyone even asked. Is there a like particular song or artist that you just can't get out of your head right now?
Well, I'm more of an old school person. I
That's right.
you probably won't even know the music I
Oh,
like
don't
Train,
don't
like I love
underestimate me.
Train, Drops of Jupiter.
Oh, of
I
course I know that.
love
In the air, yeah. I know it.
okay. I like
Yeah.
Steve Nicks. I like
You can go your
yeah,
own way.
I'm more old school. The Eagles.
Hotel
So that's
California.
that there you go.
Oh
All the
yeah.
way. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the music that I really listen to when I want to get singing loud.
Oh, I think it's the greatest.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm a big kind of old school rock fan.
Who do you
There's a
like?
yeah, I mean, so it kind of is all over the place, but a lot of 80s stuff in particular, like 80s into 90s. I'm
Okay.
a big AC/DC person.
Are you
Um,
really?
yeah,
Wow.
I've been listening to Thunderstruck like crazy the last
Oh,
two
yeah.
days.
Mhm.
I just can't get out of my head. Just gets you amped up, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's
Um,
definitely something to get you going. That's for sure.
oh, for sure.
Do
And I've also been kind of like slumped into a lot of 90s stuff because for the most part, that's kind of when I grew up.
right.
I was born in 89. So
Yeah.
between the border of, the 80s and 90s. So like a lot of these kind of like alt rock type things.
Right.
But lately, I just can't get out of my head. There's a radio station nearby, 99.9 The Hawk. And that's all they do, man. It's just a lot of just blasting
That's so cool.
some serious guitar, and I'm super into it. So hearing
You're
that
just
you're into that, yeah, I
playing
wish
your
I could
air.
play.
What's that?
I wish I could play.
Me too. I
Oh,
can't play any instruments.
you have no instruments? Have you ever tried?
Yeah, I was trying a lot of stuff. I mean, if I could do it, like when my daughter was little, I made her do the drums because I thought the drums were so badass. But
Oh,
she just stick
Sue.
with it. But I my mom sent us to piano lessons, and I would just make my sister take my lesson. I wouldn't do it, and I just Now I regret it. I wish I could play some instruments, especially the guitar. I love the
Oh,
guitar.
yeah. How cool is that? I mean, you could learn
Yeah,
some chords. They always say, like, just 4 chords will, make you play,
yeah,
like, a
they
billion
say
different
that, but
songs.
I can't get them. Yeah, my dad used to play the guitar, and we would sing, when we were little, and I just
Oh,
wish I could have picked it up.
that's really
Guitar,
sweet. How do you
yeah.
feel about country music?
I don't listen to it, but it's either your dog's dying, your car broke down, or the girl left you. But
Yeah, that's all
but
you
I
need.
do like
That's the
it. I do
formula.
like it. It's and I wish I could learn how to. I like if I ever went to like Nashville or something, I would want to do line dancing because I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I would love to do that. I don't really listen to country music, but I don't have anything against it.
Oh, yeah. I can see it. I can see you in the hat. You got the
Yeah.
boots
Oh,
going. I
well,
can
if
see
I was
you.
doing it, I would go full tilt, everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love it.
You strike me as someone, who's just always, like, going flair. Like, you're gonna do it with flair if you can.
Yeah,
I love
I do.
that. Absolutely. You're like,
Why
yeah.
not? Right?
Yeah.
You only
Yeah.
live once. You might as well just go for it. Like I don't even care what people think of me. Sometimes wouldn't even believe what I throw on, but I don't care. It's my
No.
personality. I'm not going to cow down to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. If it makes you feel good, makes you feel confident. I mean, you look great, so
Yeah,
obviously, you
it's
gotta go
fun.
with it. Yeah, it's fun. Everything's big game of dress up if you really want it to be sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I love that. Okay, awesome. Sorry, sidetracked a little bit with that, but that's
Oh, that's
honestly
okay.
because there's a lot of random stuff to know and chat about. But for the sake of time, like I said, one of my biggest issues is I just like to talk too much about great subjects with awesome people, and that's
Well,
what's
thank you.
happening.
This has been really fun. I've really enjoyed
Oh.
this, and I'm happy that you asked me to come on your show.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, Sue. I've been certainly the one who's taking the pleasure from this. I greatly appreciate it. I mean, next episode, we have, some stuff going on with this alliance. Maybe they're going to shake up. The only question I have to for parting with you is at this point, who do you hope wins the game? Who's your one pick?
Ugh.
It's
I
tough.
like Joe.
Joe,
Yeah.
you hope he takes it?
Yeah, I do.
I would love a Joe win myself. I don't think he will, but I would love it.
I would like I just everything about him. I think he's a well-rounded guy. I think he's a deserving guy. He's a hard worker, and um, I don't know, especially, he won my heart. I mean, I always thought he was good looking to begin with, but like
Oh.
after seeing what happened with him and Eva, yeah, he's good looking. But he's a good family man too, which, you have to have respect for. But I just think like someone like that should win it. Should be the king of the season.
I think you could walk away from the season feeling good that Joe won.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I think it's a good choice. You hope he wins the game, and maybe next time you see him, you say, Joe, grab my hands, buddy. And
Yeah.
we'll just sit here together. It's like, I want to feel what she felt so I could win too.
Yeah, exactly. Put your hands in my hands. No, I definitely would be thrilled for him. I'd be really happy for him to win.
Yeah, me too. I would absolutely love that. Good pick.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. All right. I'm gonna let Sue go so
Okay.
Sue can get back to her puppies and
Yes.
can basically go on living the rest of life. But hopefully, in the future, we'll be chatting a little bit more with Sue.
Anytime.
Talk
Yeah,
about
I
the
would
game.
love to. Anytime. Just let me know.
Oh, she's so sweet. Look at this. This is what we're talking about. This is why you make it to the end of a social game right here. Sue being so nice.
Well, thank
Awesome.
you. Well,
Of
this
course.
is fun.
Thank you.
I enjoy this, so it was nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Sue. And next week we'll have another recap episode. But in the meantime, we're gonna check out of here. Hope you all have an absolutely amazing rest of your day. Take care. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.